mind
I
discussing
will
it
hit
out
it
here.
right now.
All right, very good.
In the criminal justice system, the people,
Pimps, addicts, thieves, bums, winos, girls who can't keep an address, and men who don't care.
are represented by two separate yet equally important groups.
A cop, a flatfoot, a bull, a dick, John Law. You're the fuzz, the heat. You're poison, you're trouble, you're bad news.
These are their stories.
How about those Proud Boys on trial for seditious conspiracy in Washington? Witness and cooperator Jerry Bertino back on the witness stand, talking about the all-out revolution that was expected by the Proud Boys. The jury is seeing messages from defendant and former Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio. These messages are from New Year's Day 2021. Quote, let's bring this new year with one word in mind: revolt and New Year's revolution. Now, a message, it goes on to say, from defendant Ethan Nordine is being introduced, described as a, quote, legend by Bertino. Again, Bertino is a cooperating witness for the state, for the feds in this case. This is a message from Bertino, from Nordine, who's another defendant. He's another one of the Proud Boys, to Bertino, who's a cooperating witness for the Proud Boys, from January 3rd. I don't think the police could survive a war with society, is what was said. Then the parlor message from defendant Joe Biggs. Remember, they're trying all these guys for seditious conspiracy at once. From January 2nd, 2021, every lawmaker who breaks their own stupid effing laws should be dragged out of the office and hung. Witness Jeremy Bertino, again the cooperating witness, says that after the Supreme Court refused to intervene on the election, quote, my belief was we had to take the reins and pretty much be the leaders that we had been building ourselves up to be. Everyone felt desperate. Bertino is talking about how the Proud Boys' attitude toward police was changing in the weeks before January 6, 2021. Quote, at this point, things had changed, and we weren't on their side, the side of the police, anymore. And after Enrique Tarrio's arrest on the 4th, one Proud Boys member suggested deleting the chat messages. Quote, I thought it was a good idea. This is Bertino saying this in quote. He said it on the stand. When asked by the prosecutor why, Bertino said, well, this is kind of why, right here.
Mm-hmm. So you knew what you were doing was wrong while you were doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Jurors are now seeing messages from others and what would happen if 1 million patriots stormed the Capitol building. Would the cops shoot into the crowd? We are now seeing Proud Boys messages from the morning of January 6, 2021. Aaron of the Bloody East wrote, that was what he was called, quote, the state is the enemy of the people. I want to see thousands of normies burn that city to ash today. And again on the morning, Proud Boy John Stewart, he was also called Johnny Blackbeard, quote, it's going to happen. These normie cons have no adrenaline control. They are like a pack of wild dogs. Effing let them loose.
What's a normie con?
Those are the people who I think are also there who are not Proud Boys. You know what I mean? But they're part of the effort. That was my understanding.
Oh, okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think that that's what that is. There are tons of these text messages, and they are brutal, just like that. He says, I was excited. This is something he says again. This is the cooperating witness. Quote, I was excited. I thought I was watching history. I thought I was watching the guys go into the building. He was mad that he wasn't there to witness, quote, the revolution. So this is an ongoing trial. There'll be extensive coverage here, but I wanted you to get a sense for the kinds of text messages and communications that crew was full of. And it was, well, it was what it was. And I'm glad they got these guys, as far as I'm concerned, lock them up and throw away the key. I mean, those people who were hurt that day, not to mention what you're trying to do to this country. A brothel worker is arrested after shots are fired in a SWAT team standoff.
What?
At the Moonlight Bunny Ranch in Nevada. Yeah.
Seems like such a charming place.
Yeah, it's legal there, I'll remind you.
The Moonlight Bunny Ranch.
Yeah, you can go there and, do what you got to do. Right.
Smashed it with your iron rod.
You can smash it with your iron rod, and it's fully legal there. So,
Who is having that conversation?
a female worker at Moonlight Bunny Ranch in Nevada was arrested after a dispute broke out with a coworker at the brothel. Wow.
Uh-oh.
It's
That's not fake. That's real.
The brothel is near Carson City. I probably don't need to tell all of you where it is. It was two colleagues, apparently, who got into it, if you'll pardon the expression. Deputies determined one of... Thank you. Yeah, I'm here.
Let me just interrupt you for a moment and tell you on Yelp, the Moonlight Bunny Ranch only gets 3.5 stars. So.
What?
Oh, my God. That is... Well, look, your mileage may vary,
It is open 24 hours, and that's a nice amenity.
I would hope. I mean, some of those, when you gotta have it, you gotta have it.
Girl, you just woo.
Yeah. Apparently, one of the employees had fired a gun several times before locking herself in one of the rooms. Officers descended on the scene. A SWAT team joined them, and multiple other law enforcement agencies also arrived on the scene. It was 12:30 in the morning, Kim. 12:30 in the morning. That's not even late for a brothel. Things are just beginning to rock at 12:30. The worker, 26-year-old Savannah Henderson, also known as Tiara Tay. Oh, that's strong. I think that's a strong pseudonym.
Yeah.
Tiara Tay surrendered to cops, was taken into custody. Nobody was injured during the incident. That's yeah.
By the way, the Yelp reviews, hilarious.
What does the Yelp review say about the Moonlight? Is it a major announcement, the Yelp review?
No, I wouldn't call it a major announcement.
Okay.
Jen V says the bartender was nice. The saleswoman was a riot. Aside from that, my party and I felt rushed while we were in there. None of us were there for a girl. There's questions.
Nobody's there for a girl. They're just there. What?
Big shout out.
Food? Yeah, I love
Visiting this
drinks,
place,
especially
says-
cocktails.
Josine says, visiting this place has got to be the most badass thing I've ever done. Thank you, Pantera, for a very memorable experience and a great time. I'm definitely glad I came.
I get it. I
don't think you should apologize for how you feel.
Funny.
Oh, my God. That is, well, I went to the Moonlight Bunny Ranch, but I just didn't feel loved.
No.
Really?
Sayonara, sucker.
I don't know. Here is the last story, and it's a big one out of Law and Disorder. It comes from Mexico. The U.S. government and the Mexican government put together a major effort to roll back cocaine distribution and to roll back the drug trade and the drug cartels that infest Mexico and have spilled over into this country in such a big way. One of the people who is key to being the point person in Mexico for the U.S. is a guy named Genaro Garcia Luna. The Mexican public security secretary. Now, this guy, Genaro Garcia Luna, the Mexican public security secretary, has been arrested.
Why?
Here he is now being arrested. He was found guilty. He had been arrested. He was found guilty in federal court of taking bribes from the drug cartels, the very drug cartels he'd sworn to combat.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the point man, as I say. Turns out he himself was mobbed up international cocaine distribution conspiracy, conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute cocaine, conspiracy to import cocaine and making false statements. All of these things bringing him down. He essentially was his country, Mexico's FBI director, and now he's going down. 54 years old, no emotion as the verdict was announced. He turned around briefly to look at his wife, daughter, and son and placed his hands over his heart. He's the highest-ranking current or former Mexican officer ever tried in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, he's connected to El Chapo. Remember El Chapo?
Who could forget?
What he's got going here is a situation.
He does have a situation going. Anyway, the verdict, after 15 days of testimony from nearly 30 witnesses, Garcia Luna had pleaded not guilty to all charges. He will be sentenced later this year.
My bad. I'm sorry.
He'll need more than that.
Is that a guy you think that they can't let live? You think he's going to meet his maker in prison?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he can get any sort of sentencing reduction that would make him, talk about anybody. And that's what they worry about, right? That's what they're concerned with.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But it's a good question. It really is. It's a good question. It's pretty wild, the testimony. They had, cartel bosses, ranking cartel bosses testifying against him. And they said that his agents, remember, these are all guys who are working for like the Mexican FBI to combat supposedly drug trafficking.
Right.
His agents acted as bodyguards and escorts for traffickers. In return, prosecutors said that he was paid in U.S. currency, sometimes in $100 bills, in thick bundles of $10,000.
Outrageous.
The cash would be stuffed in suitcases, briefcases, and duffel bags. So he was just taking bribes like crazy while working for the Americans and supposedly the Mexican government, but he was doing nothing of the kind, just looking the other way and actually helping the drug traffickers, letting them know where the Mexican and American interdiction teams were. Pretty crazy. Interdiction's a ding word. That's Law and Disorder for today.
Tune in again next time for more Law and Disorder on The Mark Thompson Show.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out there.
Now, Neiman agrees with Kim.